off on a Friday. It's Nordo in for PA. It's a feast of sorts on a Friday. TimberTech set list, timbertech.com. 11 a.m., Alec Lewis of The Athletics going to be in studio. Prior to that, Charch. We're going to check in with Charch from Utah. Not only Kwesi-related news, but Super Bowl props with the game this weekend. And breaking everything down with Charch for an hour at 10. KJR Radio, fan family, iHeart family out west. Hugh Millen, a decade plus in the NFL, analyzes Seahawks football. We're going to chat with him and talk about maybe Sam Darnold hoisting a Lombardi this weekend. And joining me now in studio, as he does on Fridays, feels like forever, like 06, 07-ish, really since he started with the Vikings. Yeah. Chad Greenway, how you doing, brother?
What up? Yeah, I was like OG PA Dubé days. Like that was the ACL year, 06, blow the knee out in the preseason game. I started coming in and doing radio, started cutting my teeth. And I was actually excited to see Mr. I thought PA was going to be in today.
He's out today. He's going to be returning on Monday.
Okay.
And just some sort of weird, obscure bit that has him sidelined today.
Got it. Yeah, that happens a lot to me too.
If Charch was here, he would make up some, it's like some flesh-eating bacteria.
Yeah, of course he would.
Some weird malady. It is not that. But
so we dropped so low now on Fridays. We're going to fill space with Charch. We're back to that again.
It's the off season. It's tough times.
There's no fantasy football takers here. There's no talkers. There's nothing going on.
Well, there can be.
I guess.
Do you like making money?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I guess I do. Actually.
Okay, because there's going to be an opportunity and potentially some gold to be found, to be uncovered and dug up. If you have big opinions on Ramondre Stevenson's receptions, or Stephon Diggs receiving yards, or Drake May's touchdowns.
Which driver am I going to do my wings? Make sure I get that queso spicy enough for my liking, but not too hot for the kids.
What does the feast look like?
The intricacies of that thing is kind of interesting. The best part about my Sunday, thank you, youth basketball world, for not scheduling my kids on Sunday this week. I get Saturdays only. It's amazing. So it'll be a busy day Saturday, and Sunday's free and clear. I'm going to go wings. I don't do smoked wings. I know a lot of people in the smoker. I go air fryer, which is kind of a cheat, easy. I'm not a sauce wing guy. I'm a dry rub guy.
Same here, actually.
Yeah. So, but my kids love sauces, so I'll probably do a couple, 3 or 4. Not meat sauce. I mean, sauce.
I understand.
And then I always go queso.
Yeah.
And then how do you feel about this? Because like entree wise, when you're having people over, wife wants to go pizza. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm not pizza. Easy. I'm just not the pizza guy. I like pizza.
Right.
I'm not going to get, I don't want to get killed for that. But I for an event like that, I mean, I guess you're eating a bunch of other stuff, so you don't really have like a main entree, kind of picking at things all day. Sure. People are going to bring stuff over, of course. You got a couple friends that have, you have a fan favorite of what they make, they're going to bring over. Do you go just like Raising Cane's, maybe bring some tendies in?
How about that?
Say I'm wrong about that.
Just a vat of Cane's, tenders?
I got a bunch of kids in the house. I mean, hey, the Cane's are for the kids. Meanwhile, I'm 12 deep. On the Cane's with the cane sauce.
Yeah, correct. You're swatting a child's hand away.
Hang 100%. On. Yeah. There's only 4 left.
Well, there's 2 ends of the spectrum. So in the past, like cooking a brisket.
Yeah.
Right. But you think about
that's your jam.
The time invested in that.
It's like your cologne. Every time I just walk by you, it's like your musk is just brisket.
Yeah, that's actually a problem.
Bottle that.
That's a problem. Thanks for finally letting me know.
It's bourbon, I can't tell if it's bourbon or brisket. I'm not sure.
I was wondering why everyone stays at arm's length. Now I get it.
No, I would embrace that.
Next step is washing it off. But there's 2 ends of the spectrum. Either you go in like that, but then you're thinking about time on task. I mean, that's a full day, right? You're getting up at 4 a.m. for a 5 p.m. kickoff.
That's the only part about the smoking thing I can't get my head around. Is like I enjoy sitting around a smoker or a grill for a couple hours and enjoying that. But if I got to get up at 4 to do it, it's a problem for me. Yeah. If I can get up at like 8:30, have a bunch of coffee, mold that right into pouring some hot stuff in my coffee, and then going right into having the day.
Well, you can do that. I mean, it's
just got to smoke it faster.
Correct.
A higher temp.
Yeah. So, I mean, the key to smoking, without going too far down the road here, is you got to nail the finish.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So specifically with a brisket or a pork butt, you're looking for bark, right?
Yep.
And bark requires time. Bark requires smoke.
Love.
So, but once that requires time, no doubt about it. Once you get it in the wrap,
Yep.
Now we don't have to cook it at 220 anymore.
Got it.
We can pump that thing up.
Yeah,
We got to
finish that thing though.
Nail the finish temp.
Yep.
Which that's a combination of the tender. It's not always static. It's not always 205.
Yeah.
Could be $1.98. It could be 212. But
wow,
you
because
nail.
it depends on thickness, the whole thing you're dealing with. It's a whole bunch of factors.
Brisket's it's like a snowflake. Each one's different, and each one requires a different kind of love.
When you first started, were you awful at it and got better, or were you just good at it because they just gave you all the cheat codes?
No, I ruined a 250. I've done a couple of stupid things. I've ruined a $250 Wagyu brisket. Just ruined it. Awful. Dry as the desert sand.
No way.
Yeah, that was tough. So, little cost issue there. Secondly, so I have a barrel smoker. I wanted to try just kind of just old school pit barrel, and you can hang stuff on it. So you can do like tri-tips, picanha. I mean, you can do anything on there. But I got this tomahawk. Now, you can get the tomahawk with the bone cut off. Yeah. Why on earth would you do that?
Don't get a tomahawk then.
I don't care if it's, I mean, the bone is half the fun. Yeah. And you're swinging it around the whole thing.
Looks awesome.
Correct. Super manly. So then you drill a hole in the bone. Yep. You hook it over the barrel. I went what I thought was super light on the fire at the bottom. So you just build up your coals. You can put some smoke some wood chunks in there. And I thought I went super light. So I doubled the fire. Yeah. Well, I created, have you ever pictured like Neapolitan ice cream? Yeah. With the 3 different colors? Yep. So the bottom was actually so charred, inedible, non-edible. The middle was well done, which, I mean, it might as well be. That's not really edible either.
Also dog food.
Yeah. So there was about a half pound out of a 5-pound tomahawk. Well, that was edible at the very top.
Hot. It was too hot.
Yeah.
The whole thing was too hot.
Absolutely just scorched it.
You ever made, speaking of that, we got to get off the subject, but you ever make jerky, like dry beef jerky, like anything like that in your smoker?
I want to.
Just too much time.
Well, it's the prep of the I mean, the people who are good at it.
That's something you leave for like days.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And the people who are good at it, I mean, it's like a passion. Yeah. Like, they love it.
I think that's like for all these kids I have in the house, and you're trying to throw them something good. It's not ridiculous when you're trying to run out the door to an event or sports or whatever. It's like, that's such a great thing to throw at them that I should be good at that.
Well, and it's also, part of this for me with barbecuing and smoking. And still, there's so much I have to learn, so many more different cuts of meat to ruin. And I'm very excited to do it. There is an aspect, like, as a dad, like, you can't just run out. Our social lives now have significantly changed, right? Yeah. That's one thing I truly...
What's that, social life?
Exactly, but when I first had kids, I struggle with that. Like, how, I got friends, I want to be somewhere, right? There's this magnetic pull, or
now you only want to be home.
Oh, yeah, correct. Absolutely. I want a pair of basketball shorts on by 6:30.
Yes.
I'm out.
Good luck with that. But yes, it's the best.
But part of barbecuing and part of the fact that it's on, you're there at home, is you're at home. Mm-hmm. And bringing the girls around outside and stuff like that, it kind of can be a family activity.
Yeah, now it's mid-30s, which feels like 60, so like you can play outside. It's the best.
This is shorts weather.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I saw in shorts 2 days ago when it was like 34. I'm like, you guys are nuts.
Well, and I mean, I have you go from the garage. Now, the ramp here is not heated, but technically I could basically be wearing salmon shorts and flip-flops right now.
Except
and really not be.
But knee to ankle has got to be the whitest thing on earth right now. It's like as white as that paper towel.
It's unsightly. Yes, it's not good. But long story short, you don't have to do the 14-hour brisket. But like have you ever done like jalapeno poppers?
Love.
And there's a way, if you get the seeds out, a little more palatable for the kids.
Kids can have them.
But like doing like a chorizo or a spicy Italian sausage with some cream cheese and stuff.
Good Lord.
You can do stuff like that. Like,
for whatever reason, my feed on social has given me a ton of jalapeno poppers for Super Bowls this year. It must be the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but they all look amazing.
Here's what you do, though, if you make jalapeno poppers. Again, I guess I'm just ripping myself and in just embarrassing moments with Nordo here. Wear gloves.
This is your 4th and 20.
Wear gloves.
Oh, yeah, because then you rub your eyes.
Yeah,
Don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, or do all sorts of other stuff.
So it was like 95 out, and you're bouncing into the kitchen, out to the deck or whatever. And I mean, if it gets above 65, I'm sweating. So I'm sweating, and I'm cutting up the jalapenos, and I'm excited. And I am just casually wiping the sweat from my brow. Well, not thinking about it in the moment. I think I'm having a freaking stroke.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like there's this, it just, on my head.
Insane heat.
My head is on fire. My head is just unbelievable. 5 alarm ablaze. Yeah. And I'm like, Molly, come down here. And I'm kind of almost like, am I dizzy? Like, what's happened? Do we got to make a hospital call here? Like, is something going on? And Molly just looked down at the jalapenos, looked up at me, and she's, you idiot.
You're an idiot. Yeah. Every other word.
So wear gloves when you chop jalapenos. Well, the feast is going to be good. The game is going to go, hopefully, I mean, are we all on Seattle? Is that where we're feeling right now?
Yeah, what's the final line? Have we looked at the line?
It's bounced between 4.5 and 5 at the 2 or 3 different spots I've seen it.
You know, I think you watch the championship games and you watch that Seahawk defense and what it's been able to accomplish. Now, is it Umanori, the great safety?
Yeah. Nicky
like
Umanori.
He's out right now, right? I think he had an ankle a couple days ago at practice.
So McDonald says he's definitely going to play.
Okay.
Now, it was a low ankle. You ever had a low ankle?
Low ankle is better than a high ankle.
Yeah.
Low ankle is better, like more what we would say a traditional ankle to be, unless it's into the foot, which could be like a midfoot sprain, something nasty like that, which can be gnarly. But
it's an OA. It's an original ankle.
Yeah. How do you? Yeah. If it's an OA, just an original ankle. I mean, that's one of those things you've rolled like 35 times in your life, probably.
Yeah.
And like you just tape that thing up and go. Especially if it's the Super Bowl for the love of God.
It's a Super Bowl, right? You played with like broken ribs, and that was just like regular season games.
My wife hates me for that. The best part about that story was the 4 broken ribs. I played with 4 cracked ribs that became broken in New Orleans in the warm up of the game.
Oh,
they had just gone through.
Was that the Brandon LaFell hit?
It was. Yeah. The receiver
game.
Yeah, I'm locked in on trying to get off a block, and he hits me right in the ribs underneath my arm, just brutal. And then I finished that game. It was like the second or third play of the Patriots game. Crack him. Played through that. Feels like almost like a really bad side stitch. It wasn't that bad, honestly. And then you go through the whole week of practice, and then Shug, the trainer's like, "Hey, we got to see if you can make it. So we'll go through warm up, get warmed up, and literally like first play of the game, straight, all of them just crack all the way through
for real.
And you're like, well, you're the linebacker. We have no other linebackers up, so you're playing. You got to figure this out. The longest game ever. Then we have our 3rd kid the next day when we fly back from New Orleans. Have Blakely, and she's like, you can't even hold her. Like, you're an idiot. Why'd you play?
Wow.
One of those deals. Point being, he's going to play in the Super Bowl.
He's going to play in and he doesn't even have cracked ribs. Yeah, I'm going to, I was trying to find, again, some Super Bowl prop wagers that Charch and I are going to talk about during the 10 a.m. hour. And it's just, what's really impressed me about Sam, what's impressed me about the Seahawks offense over the course of the year is we have Sam here for a year and things don't end well. So we've kind of categorized him or boxed him up, right? And the Seahawks have managed to win with the arm of Sam, with Ken Walker, and at the time, a healthy Zach Charbonnet with the ground game, that what they've done around him, specifically with Clint Kubiak running that offense, that this is very tricky for me if I want to dial into, you're thinking, and it's the right way to look at it, like Umanori, what he means to the defense and just their ability maybe to confuse Drake May, which I see that happening. But just trying to dig into the nuts and bolts of this, where I no longer need Sam to prove me. How self-righteous is that? It's like, I need Sam Darnold to prove that he can do this. He's in the freaking Super Bowl.
That's just a fan base that's just so upset that we don't have him anymore. So we're just like, we're not sure how to feel about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think I've gotten over the hump on it. Yeah. But this is a guy that this team was running for $180, and he was throwing the ball 12 times.
Yep.
And now we just went for 3 and change when they couldn't get Kenneth Walker moving, and they toppled the Rams.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that could happen to the Patriots is that nobody's given them much of a chance. By the way, this is a team that's won, organization that's won more Super Bowls than anybody ever. A guy who's been there, done that, Vrabel, who I think the best prop bet might be is which linebacker is going to score a touchdown, because the Vrabel bit, that's the part I can't wait to see. The part to me that I'm rooting for the Seahawks so hard is because there's so many connections back to the Vikings days when I played, and the coaches that are there, Frazier, Jeff Howard, Clint Kubiak, these guys. Were
you around with Andrew Janocko at all?
Andrew Janocko was my last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So Janocko's there. These guys, were all cutting their teeth, obviously, other than Frazier. But these guys were, Clint Kubiak was just you asked me the question jokingly in the text about quality control. That's what these guys were all doing.
Yeah.
They were all the gophers. They're running, they're printing off, sheets to go fill out the, what plays we're going to do in practice and what's the sets we're going to see and what the play call is going to be. They write them all down. And that's what they do. They spend their time just in the lab. Now they can probably AI and it's all printed off. But back then, that's what they're doing. They're doing all the hard work that the coaches don't actually want to do to prepare them for practice and for games, et cetera.
It kind of reminds me, they're almost, they are paid, although not paid much.
Yeah.
But it's almost like that intern spot.
It's like a lowly paid internship to see, can you make it? Can you hack it? Do you know football? Like Jeff Howard, for example, who's in charge of the safeties at Seattle, who, by the way, are one of the best groups in the league, was our assistant linebacker coach. Played linebacker in college at I forget, he was a really good player, All-American, I think it was D2 or D3, and stud. So he knew the game. He could play. He was fun to have in the room because you could chop it up with him. He's kind of like one of us. He's our age. He's younger than me at that point. Of course, I was old, but to see those guys put the time in, do it right, know they're good people, like Clint Kubiak too, who, Gary Kubiak, he's the nepotism in the NFL is real, except when you're really talented, like Gary Kubiak and now Clint Kubiak, when you're really talented, have an eye for it, and you've worked your way up to get to the spot. Now, the fact that he's head coach to me is wild.
It's crazy, right?
Just impossible for me to think that way because these guys are getting so young at these head coaches, but deserved. Because that's just the way the game is changing. So,
even if you wanted to say Clint Kubiak, so Gary's here 19 and 20, and then Clint gets the OC job in 2021. Well, first, we had Kirk Cousins on yesterday. Talked to your guy Hutch yesterday as well. I might have a question about him. But
oh boy,
yeah, Hutch is awesome.
Yeah,
but
he wasn't awesome when you were a rookie.
But I bet
I'll tell you that much. His one rule was just don't talk, don't speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was my locker. I was right next to him. I was like, okay, I could probably manage that. He's the scariest person on planet Earth.
Oh, then he's HOF, isn't he?
HOF.
He's an awesome dude. But Cousins talked about he felt like he maybe had his best year under Clint in 2021. But even if you were to say, Gary being around, you can make those clear A to Z connection points in terms of kid getting OC opportunity after Gary heads out. You can't say that he's getting that now, right?
Right.
He worked his way, and he was with Kyle Shanahan, proved himself on those grounds, and now he's taking Darnold and company to the Super Bowl. And that is, we've heard that a lot. It's nepotism. There's a hint of unfairness there, right? If my kid, if I...
Is it deserved?
Yeah. And I'm rising to the ranks. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to do whatever I can. If my son or daughter was to choose to be in the same arena as me...
You're going to help.
I'm going to do whatever I can to help. Yeah. But at some point, the training wheels come off, and they got to ride. And that's going to manifest itself in whatever direction it goes.
Yeah, your network, as an adult, you're starting to learn this now with my kids, 18 years old, is your network really is your net worth. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of talented people out there. A lot of people that probably, that either think they can or could be in Clint Kubiak's situation if given the opportunity. And, but clearly, you said it, the training wheels have come off a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a very talented leader and coach, a guy who's kind of learned it, been around it to see it. You can be mad that if you want, that nepotism is real, but the reality is that's just as the world goes round. You talk about, I don't care if it's politics or sports or
whatever
CEOs or anything. That's just unfortunately how it works, or fortunately how it works, depends on what side of that you're on. But I think the interesting part is, it's funny for me because I'm seeing them as, 10 years ago, Clint Kubiak and Jeff Howard and Andrew Janocko. And so I can text them and just talk absolute stuff to them. And oh, by the way, he's going to be the head coach of the Raiders. And I'm just smack talking. Same thing with Stefanski. We came in together. He was the quality control assistant to the head coach under Childress.
And Childress had him running ragged.
He's getting coffee. He's printouts. He's doing all our hard work, and he's making nothing.
But he gets to be in the room.
But he's in the room, and he learns, and he just soaks it up.
Yeah.
He played collegiate safety. So he was a safety at Penn, defensive side of the ball, but he saw the game from the defensive side of the ball, went over to the offensive side, did great. And look where he's at. He gets let go by the Browns and is one of probably the most sought after coach, or one of them, after Harbaugh and everybody else jumped into the pool, but one of the most sought after coaches in the league because of his leadership ability, because of his ability to coach, because of his ability to see things. And And again, like I sent him a text, like just a wild text you're not supposed to send a head coach, because like I know, you know him at a different level, right. Since 06, 20 years ago. So it's fun doing that kind of stuff. And same thing with Brzezinski, which gets elevated this week or last week in the GM spot.
Yeah,
and,
you can send, and especially now that he's not in charge of your contract, you can say whatever you want.
Wild text messages, and the best part is, all good stuff. I mean, like Rob, he's like he's just like that person in the building that everybody wants to rally behind because he's such a good person and he's really good at his job and he's really smart and he's really talented. All those things you have to be in that position for so long. And he's jumped through these different regimes and wore different hats. Because when you're really good and they don't have to move on from you, they keep you because they know, and the talent's there and he wants to be here. And now for him to have a level of control, maybe a step beyond where he's been before, everybody is excited for him. And it's like that first time Thielen runs on the field when he's earned that chance to have a chance, and boom, everybody's fired up.
Makes the most of it.
And Rob's certainly that guy who's been kind of not talked about enough in our organization over the past 20 plus years for what he's done. And now we're all excited for him to have an opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's continue that conversation. We're going to pause, but more, whether it be on Rob Brzezinski and the dismissal of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the pathway forward for our favorite team. Also, some HOF news and some names in the mix from last night. The 2026 inductees put into the HOF in Canton. And, one of our favorite guys, not on that list, but some unbelievable names as part of this list. So we'll chat about all that as we continue the Friday Feast with Chad Greenway. Brett Blakemore produces, and he's got a bonus buck opportunity for you.
That's right. The Fan wants to give you a shot to win those bonus bucks with a national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword this hour is money. The keyword is money, KFAN.com. Keyword yen. Bonus Box is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday, every hour, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Just gave you the keyword for this hour. Last segment, enter the keywords and learn more at KFAN.com.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It's a Friday Feast. Ziggy, it's time to pay.
Pay that man.
Please re-sign Greenway. Oh, this was the advanced one.
Yeah.
This was the one I sent specifically to Winter Park to get the job done. And you're welcome. Still waiting for a royalty check on that, but that
it was in the mail.
That can be discussed off air.
It's been spent by one of my 4 children.
Yeah, you got. How about Matthew Stafford on stage? It's almost kind of, when you just picture our families, that becomes really why we do everything else. And just him up there with his 4 girls last night. I mean, I'm slacking. Yeah. I only got 3.
Yeah, you got to go back to the well, man.
We got
one more.
I'll talk to Molly about that after the show today. Yeah. You have 4 girls, but that just kind of hit me last night. He's up there. It's his first MVP. He's old man, gray beard.
Crazy.
Frankly, by all accounts, did everything he possibly could to find his way back to the Super Bowl, but the Seahawks just better in the moment. But it was just kind of hit like Matthew Stafford's career. He's got his kids up there. It's just cool moments like that. You hope that maybe 10, 15 years from now, he can look back at stuff like that. And I'm sure you had moments when you were a player as well, like just sharing the sacrifices, sharing the career, sharing the fun times with your family.
Yeah, I mean, he came in, I think 09 he came in, right? Is this 16 years for him?
08 or 09, yeah.
Just crazy career and ability. And you got the 4. I mean, Madden, I think, was in 4th grade when I retired, 3rd grade maybe when I retired. And then you step away from it, and like there's only 2 of my kids that really have any memory of me playing and actually being at games. The other 2 were way too young. So fun for him to be able to have them involved and be a part of it and come to an award show and watch Dad win the MVP of the NFL. It's just crazy. Bad. Yeah, not a bad little deal. And
you got McVay there, Puka's dancing the entire time.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I love it.
That's LA Flash right there.
LA Flash, can't beat it.
That's no big.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that stuff when he was in Detroit. Funny how that changes. Stafford,
a little more sunshine.
A
little beachside,
good tan.
Just a little more imagery and a little more fun, I suppose, in SoCal. Hall of Fame class was announced last night. No Kevin Williams.
No Kevin Williams.
That stinks. But when you look at that list, though,
yeah,
you kind of, I hate to say it. I love Kevin Williams. You played with him. That's a daunting list.
It's a good list.
He was up against some titans.
Yeah, good list. I think some local news writer mentioned it. He's the only guy that's been was 6-time first team All Pro or 6-time All Pro.
Yeah,
who's not in, and
you feel like he gets in at some point.
Playing 3 technique and the way he did with his ability to get after the quarterback. I mean, you probably wouldn't compare it to John Randall. I don't know the numbers. Obviously, John Randall's one of the best 3 techniques to ever play. But being a part of that Williams wall, defensively, what he did, and then, just again, he's just like such a good guy and quiet, which almost hurts a guy.
It hurts.
If Kevin Williams
way we've talked about Harrison Smith, being quiet.
Yeah, if Kevin Williams has Jared Allen's celebration or personality or John Randall's, mystique, like whatever you want to call John Randall's thing. I mean, he's just nuts.
Nora.
He's nuts in Nora.
Yeah.
There's an argument he's in from like a marketing standpoint, which I think matters. But then you can also say like Luke Kuechly, who's the most underrated guy ever. Like I feel like he had a short career, but a really good career.
Well, I saw this. So Gale Sayers is the youngest player ever inducted in the Hall of Fame. Now I had to Google this, and I'm hoping if I'm wrong, 64686, tell me I'm wrong. KFAN text line. But Gale Sayers' injury-shortened career.
Yep.
But absolutely, by anyone's account, HOF. Gale Sayers before my time, so I'm going to just trust people. They say he's one of the best. I bet he is.
Yep.
Well, he was 34. Luke turns 35 in April.
That's nuts.
So he technically is the second youngest player ever to be inducted in. I think Jim Brown, Calvin Johnson, Megatron, those guys were 35 as well. Like that's kind of the so. And I was going to ask you about that linebacker to linebacker. You saw Kuechly play. Like he's worth every bit of that gold jacket, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the years he played incredible. You kind of always think like as a linebacker, how do you separate yourself? It's got to be statistically, you got to be really good, right? You have a bunch of sacks, a bunch of interceptions, make a bunch of game-changing plays. I think it's also a fact of like you were the best at what you did during your career in the league. So during that, 10, I think you played 9?
I think it was 8 seasons.
8 seasons. I mean,
we'll verify.
Typically what you're going to say is like when you talk about Harrison Smith, right, who's had statistically one of the best careers ever as a safety, you can argue, like, how does he not get in? Because Luke Kuechly clearly does not have one of the best, if you look at stats alone, doesn't have one of the best careers ever. But he was the best at what he did for that 8 years.
Yeah.
And really good at it for a long time. And he deserves it. To me, that's why you just look at Harrison and be like, he deserves it immediately. To me, he's first ballot based off stats, longevity.
Yeah.
Only thing you don't have is a Super Bowl. Was a lot of guys that are in there of a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, that's the key. And then, so Kuechly's in, Vinatieri. Third kicker
South Dakota guy.
Yankton?
Yeah. Yankton Bucks. I think he moved up to Rapid City, I think out west later in his life, maybe. Played at SDSU. And, yeah.
I can't pretend to have an elite Roger Craig opinion, but he gets in.
He gets in. I don't know. I mean, again, it's that era when I was watching a lot of football as a young person, but not paying attention to actually the stats, the numbers, and the impact.
Yeah. No, same here. And then Fitzy. I mean, who's going to argue with second most catches all time?
The best. One of us.
I mean, I think he has like 6 drops in his career. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
As good as it gets.
What a stud.
And then Drew Brees.
Yeah. Is he the shortest? I'm kidding. He's incredible.
He could be the shortest guy in the Hall of Fame.
You get in. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, how do you look at those names and like everybody deserves it? I think.
Was it tough to see him behind the line because he was so short?
No, I mean.
You just saw kind of the tip of a helmet bobbing around?
That's real. I mean, it really is a thing. Short running backs, sometimes you get lost in the shuffle. That really happens. I mean, short quarterbacks, I mean, you drop in. And to me, like it was always the thing with Drew, every game plan was like, just don't let him get to a spot where he can see.
Right.
Make him throw from a well, right, where there's a bunch of O linemen around him that are big and tall and D linemen coming after him, hands are up. And he's a Hall of Famer doing that. No, just crazy. Incredible. And his ability to get the ball out of his hand quick. Be aware of where things are at and where the ball's got to go. Just incredible. And I don't know. I mean, I think you can make an argument that Kevin should be in right now. I still think you can look at that and look at what he did on the teams he played, and he should be in. So I'm not going to go off of that.
It feels like there's just this massive bottleneck.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. I mean, it shouldn't be the Hall of Fame that everyone gets in. But there was, and I think we even mentioned it last week, just kind of how crazy, because I think they loop in either contributors and then the older age players like Roger Craig, for instance. They loop those guys into a group where you have to select basically 2 or 3 of 5 badass names.
Yep.
And so you have a Belichick, you have a Robert Kraft, you have
come on.
These guys not getting in, but at the expense of what? Do you make Roger wait another year? Do you make
for the winningest coach ever, or second winningest coach ever, but most Super Bowls ever? I mean,
you probably make the guy wait.
I mean, you put in Bill Belichick immediately, because now all you've done is lost the validity of your vote. I mean, I think across the entire country, I think we'd all probably agree on that. Like, you don't have to like him. Yeah. It's not your feelings.
No, that's true.
It's just facts.
Yeah.
And that's where people get in the way. And a lot of people have gotten their feelings on that one.
A lot of feelings.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And I think you do have to be, this thing has to be selective. It's the Hall of Fame. It's supposed to be really, really hard to get in. And that's why you can argue that there is a pecking order. But when all of a sudden if your turn and you have a really good chance to come in, all of a sudden that class coming in is really good. Well, it's just the way it goes. So
I think you're right.
I think somebody made the argument, maybe I can't remember if it's the NBA Hall of Fame or Major League Baseball. One of them was just like too easy to get in, and it's like, what are we doing here? Yeah.
No. Well. Which one is that?
I don't remember. Somebody was talking about it, but maybe it came up with the Derrick Rose, like we're gonna raise your jersey to the rafters bit.
Oh,
I think it came up with like the Hall of Fame being too easy to. I don't know what it was, but
I don't know which one it is. It feels like the NFL has created a bottleneck, and maybe that's the right way to do it. I just feel like Kevin Williams is on the outside looking in, and I don't like that. I need my guy in.
I like him a lot. He's the best.
But another year and another opportunity. We shall see. You are the best, my friend. Enjoy the feast on Sunday.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get to catch up post Super Bowl as we approach. I mean, now the Kwesi's out. We got Brzezinski handling business, and
Can't wait.
What that whole thing looks like. They added this.
Do we ever have to hire a GM? Do we need to?
Does Brzezinski want to be GM?
We make him. We just pay him so much it doesn't matter. That's what I'm going for.
Well, there's one thing.
The immediate text I sent was, I want to be your assistant. Immediate text.
No, I think you'd be great at it.
I'll go get him coffee all day long. I have no problem with that. I love the coffee cooler.
Because there's an element. I mean, it's not like, I don't text and talk with Rob Brzezinski, but I wonder about the element where the job that he's had for a quarter century, by the way, that he is so damn good at. He was managing your contracts. We talked about Hutch and the poison pill, and
that's why I like him so much. He's overpaid me.
Yeah,
just the best.
That's why he's so good.
Gosh, that's why he's so good at his job.
Wait a minute, hold out here. Why do all the players love this guy? What's going on here? He's great at what he does. If he becomes the GM, then he doesn't get to be the guy that's just really, really good at all the things he does.
Why? We hired an offensive coordinator to be the head coach and the offensive coordinator, so why can't we do that?
I understand.
I'm confused by that.
He spent a quarter century.
Why else do you have a player personnel team that you're out across scouts across the country, a player personnel director who's feeding you all the players, and here's the list, and now you manage that?
No, I get it, and I think he'd be great. This isn't an argument of whether or not he could do it. I
made it one.
Have total faith. I have total faith in him in that regard. I'm just thinking he spent a quarter century being the guy that has all the right answers in the right spots. Now, as a general manager, potentially, he would have to own decisions that he didn't previously have to own.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know the guy particularly
let's
well.
Say, let's just go steal Denver's guy back, George Payton.
George Payton.
One of the best in the business, and one of us. He's one of us. He's the great guy. If we have to go some route, I hope it's that way.
Payton was terrific when he was here.
Yeah.
I really like that guy. My interactions, whether it's Brzezinski, George Payton, Stefanski, would be like preseason road trips where people are generally more accessible and nothing's on the line yet, so that just the guards aren't up. And just really love so many people that have spent serious and impactful time with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of fun to watch those arcs. But Peyton, if you remember, that was kind of like a oof.
Yeah,
we lost Peyton.
Yeah, we should have paid whatever it took to keep him as the assistant.
Everyone was mad at Rick at the time, and just things were going south with the Zim regime. So I mean, just everything was negative, and it's like, hey George, don't go.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe George comes back. We shall see. Thank you, as always, for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy the weekend, and we'll chat again soon. That is Chad Greenway at Chad Greenway52 via X. When we return, we're going to jump out west. Hugh Millen analyzes Seahawks football for KJR Radio out west. He's a big fan of Softy in Seattle. You know who Softy is, same radio station, analyzing the Birds for the bowl game this weekend. And we're going to chat with Hugh Millen about Sam Darnold and Super Bowl and all those good things when we return. It's Nordo in for PA, 9 to noon.
If you want to chime in what's happening with your favorite KFAN shows, you can. It's very easy. You can make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Just let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard text message and data rate supply.
Welcome back, Nordo in for PA 9 to noon. And joining me now, out west, longtime analyst for KJR, Seahawks football. And he was an Iowa native, actually, but went to school in Seattle. He was a Huskies QB and a third-round pick by the Rams in 1986, a decade plus in the NFL. Hugh Millen joins me now. How are you doing this morning, Hugh?
I'm doing great, Nordo. How are you?
I'm terrific. I'm excited. And a year ago, that's why I was excited to chat with you again, is a year ago you joined me, if you recall, and we were talking about Michael Penix and the Huskies connection, of course, being out west and just finding his way through the NFL once he got his chance to finally start last year. And now I get to talk about a QB I'm a little bit more familiar with personally, as you've gotten to watch Sam Darnold manning and helming the ship here in 2025. We gave him away. We let him go, Hugh, and now he's taking your team to a Super Bowl. What do you think about the whole thing?
Yeah. Another one man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that, I've analyzed the Vikings' decision, carefully. I think that there's a reasonable case to have been made that, you drafted McCarthy so high and you had a belief in him. And Darnold, had obviously an up and down career up to that point. The image that keeps coming to me is when the Vikings beat the Packers on December 29th of last year. You've seen the scene. It's available on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And Darnold ends up on the shoulders of his Viking teammates in this celebratory fashion that you rarely see. I backed up 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino, John Elway. I've never seen a quarterback on the shoulders of his teammates in a locker room. And there's Kevin O'Connell just kind of standing against the wall, just with a smile on his face, taking this in. And I just wonder what he was thinking. Like, how does he not think, how do I let this guy go?
Yeah.
Given how the imprint that he had made on the team, the people said, he's 14-3, didn't win any big games. Well, that was a big game. If you're on your shoulders of your teammates, you just won a big game. I tell you, Seattle, at the end of the year, the Seahawks had to beat either the Packers or the Vikings to go to the playoffs. And so that was a big game for the Seahawks. Darnold came in and ripped the Seahawks. He had that incredible back shoulder throw late in the game to JJ up up the left sideline for the touchdown to win the game. Even the Lion game earlier in the season, he had played well. So then, look, I'm not going to make excuses for the Week 18 game against the Lions,
Right.
But the Ram game, that was a disaster for everybody involved on that offense. There was 27 pressures against Sam Darnold. And to put that into context, you watch the Super Bowl, how the Eagles got after Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, after 3 quarters, they were down 4 touchdowns, and he had a 55 passer rating. It was one of the worst Super Bowl performances he ever had. He had 17 pressures in that game, running for his life. And again, Darnold had 27 pressures against the Rams. So I kind of look at that as I'm not making an excuse for the Lion game. So at any rate, that's the information that the Vikings had to make a decision. But you watch the tape and his ability to push the ball down the field. He's duplicated that in Seattle, his ability to play under center. The Seahawks are second in the NFL this year in doing so. And the play action yards per attempt, second in the league. So that ability, that's one of the hardest things you do. We had Warren Moon on, right? Actually, I saw him at a golf tournament, and he's a former Husky. I'm a former Husky. We were just talking about that play action. He goes, that's the hardest thing to do. And Darnold really was excelling at it. And I'll close with this thought. Right now, as it sits today, Sam Darnold, if you really look at his career ascension, the pivotal period was in the year 2022. That was when he was with the Panthers. He had a high ankle sprain early in that summer, and he missed the first 11 games. And then due to injuries, he got a chance to play the last 6 games. From that point on, we'll call it Thanksgiving of 2022. Got me? That's been a minute.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving of 2022. Sam Darnold has started 44 games, regular season and playoffs. He's 34-10. That's over 77% win it. That the next closest guy is Pat Mahomes at 73% since that time. And he also, out of those 44 games, he has 27 games where his passer rating was 100 or more. That's number 1 in the NFL. That speaks to a consistency of high level playing in these games. So, it probably hurts for the Vikings. They got a heck of a situation. I don't really like what JJ said. I don't think that helps the team, but I get it. I understand all of these parameters. I get it.
Yeah. Now it's an amazing breakdown of Sam, and it's kind of fun to be on the other side of it. I mean, your guys are in the Super Bowl. My favorite team is watching, but it's interesting as we were breaking down that Week 18 game. We were breaking down that playoff game and trying to determine, how to sift through the ashes. And as you guys sign him and bring him in, you guys are sifting through it. Well, I need to find some gold. I need to find a spark to why this could potentially work out. And it's worked out beautifully for you guys. I do want to ask you this, though, Hugh. Clint Kubiak, who it sounds like is set to become a head coach, he was the offensive coordinator of the Vikings in 2021. And Kirk Cousins has had nothing but glowing things to talk about in regard to Clint and just how he manages the room. He even says he had one of the best years of his career under Clint. And he's been making magic with Darnold this year in Seattle. Just any opportunity to pick his brain at all? What have you found or gleaned just from Clint, who he is managing the offense and now on the verge of winning a Super Bowl and heading to a head coaching job?
Yeah, I played for his dad, Gary, when I was with the Broncos. He was my quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, and he and I have had some chats about Clint. Of course, Clint was just a kid. This was back in the mid-'90s. But, I think for his part, he put the best game of the year. Of course, I study, every play, every game. And I thought he had his best game against the Rams. In the midst, some say, well, are you going to be distracted when you're interviewing for all these teams? If he was distracted, it didn't impact, the end of the second quarter. I'm sure many of your listeners watched the NFC Championship game. If you remember Jackson Smith and Jigba catching a corner route at the very end of the second quarter. Well, he emanated. The play began from the backfield, and the Rams just had a hard time communicating. He was wide open. Okay, that's one play. Guess what? The 2 prior plays to that, the Seahawks had guys wide open. They had Jackson Smith and Jigba on a concept in the red zone that the Rams had a hard time dealing with, where he was leaking through the back from his slot position, and then they had Jake Bobo and their 4th receiver on the team on a wide open on a post. Darnold missed him. If I'm his quarterback coach, I give Darnold a minus on the 2 plays prior to that touchdown. Of course, he gets a double plus for the touchdown pass because he gets the touchdown with the guys hitting his arm. And then there's not, I won't give you every play, but there were sequences there in the third quarter where third downs, he's getting guys wide open And, you study the tape and the combination of the formation, the timing of the motion to get free access by the receivers as opposed to redirected. There's just a lot of nuance to what he was able to execute, talking about Kubiak getting guys wide open for Sam Darnold. So I think everybody's talked about how it's arguably Darnold's greatest game. But I think it could be argued that it's Kubiak's best game, at least for this particular season.
Time for a few more with you here, Hugh. And again, thanks so much for your time as we were kind of bouncing back and forth last couple of days trying to schedule some things. But Jackson Smith-Njigba leading the league in receiving yards this year. What do you think about his evolution kind of post DK Metcalf? Kind of, we're going to move on from DK. We believe that Smith-Njigba can be that number one. And I mean, he's proved it A to Z, hasn't he?
Well, he really has. And if you go back to Ohio State, C.J. Stroud had said the Ohio State had that period where they had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. They had Jackson Smith-Njigba, obviously Emeka Egbuka. They had all of these future first round draft picks. And C.J. Stroud said the best route runner that he's ever thrown to of the 5 first rounders, he said, was Njigba. And yet when you look at it, fully 3/4 of his plays were in the slot. And then with Seattle, that number with DK Metcalf even increased. So one concern we had in Seattle going into the season was, well, Njigba, he can win in the slot because he has such a high IQ. He knows how to settle down in zones, and he has quickness, but does he have the long speed to play outside when he's going against corners? Well, that was answered emphatically with how he played. The majority, 3/4 of his plays have been outside, and he's just been a complete receiver. He's a mid-sized guy, a little under 6'1", but when you look at him on the hoof, I played with 10 Pro Bowl wide receivers. The first thing I noticed when I first saw him is, wow, he's really a low-cut guy. What does that mean? It means he's got, in his height, he has relatively short legs, longer torso, which hurts his long speed. So I don't think he has elite long speed, but his low center of gravity, he just has elite change of direction. He can run a speed, like a champion horse, running around a barrel. He can turn around at full speed because he has, such low center of gravity, strong legs. We're upon the Winter Olympics. I think he'd be an amazing, slalom skier with that low center of gravity. So there's some attributes to his frame, and then he just has next level focus on the ball tracking, late hands, doesn't drop anything. He can get reasonably physical. He's not the most physical guy, but he can be decently physical. The run after the catch is pretty good. So all of the components just, lead to the guy that just got the trophy last night for the offensive player of the year.
One on the game, and then one I want to ask about your GM. On the game, how does your team confuse, battle, and beat Drake May, who had a nice season for himself this year on Sunday?
Well, I think for Seattle, the matchup you like is if you look at that left side of the offensive line for the Patriots. Well, now you know Garrett Bradbury, right? So
we know him well.
He gave up the ninth most amount of pressures for all centers. The left tackle, Will Campbell, gave up the 6th most amount of pressures, and the left guard, Jared Wilson, probably the weak link of their football team on either side of the ball. He gave up the 3rd most amount of pressure. So that left, starting from the center, that left side, I think is going to be very vulnerable. Ooh. Seattle's had, a pass rush that at varying times has been 1 or number 2 in terms of pressures produced.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the key for Seattle. For the Patriots, they have a secondary that is really itchy to trigger on things. You know, you watch a tape and you say, well, some secondaries, they like to play back and keep everything in front of them. You know, Christian Gonzalez is a guy beautiful in his back pedal. He drives in his transition, driving on the ball is great. And then their safeties love to get real aggressive coming down on intermediate stuff. So there may be some opportunities from some double moves because that Patriot secondary really good, but also very trigger happy on trying to jump routes in the intermediate level.
Oh, I like hearing that because I got a prop bet on Rashid Shaheed with a 30 or longer reception on Sunday. Jump those routes, boys, and let Rashid get loose.
I'll give you a thought about that.
Ooh.
He had played in 10 games prior to the NFC Championship game, and his longest completion in air yards was 21 yards. Now, he in the first drive of the NFC Championship game, he catches a go route over the top that was 36 air yards. So if that happens to some level, it's going to be bucking some of the odds that we had seen prior to the championship game.
Well, now I gotta backpedal on that like Christian Gonzalez.
Maybe hedge yourself. No.
Yeah, absolutely. My last thing for you here, just John Schneider, just watching from afar, the work he's done in the free agency periods via the draft. You know, John Schneider has built basically two different Super Bowl entities.
Nordo,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to. I am due on Seattle radio, like right at the top of the hour, and I'm already 1 minute late.
Well, let me thank you for your time, and we'll catch up soon.
I apologize. I had told your producer, so it's all good. But yeah, I got to roll. So
no worries. Take care.
Go Hawks. Okay.
Go Hawks. Okay. That's Hugh Millen. Analyst, KJR Radio. And did we have an out time, Brett?
No such conversation took place. I would have told you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Hugh's elite. I did want to dig in with him, and maybe we'll catch up with him. And he's a hot commodity as he's doing a lot of radio today. But all good on that. No, but I want to at some point touch base with Hugh. Again, because John Schneider going down this road as we are without a general manager, and now Rob Brzezinski stepping into that spot, and what the future holds here for our organization. The news coming out yesterday that Matt Thomas has been hired as a football administration consultant. Well, Matt Thomas from 2013 to 2024 was hanging out with John Schneider and hanging out in the building out west, helping Schneider put awesome defenses, fantastic teams together, and certainly being a part of this operation that is now playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. So at some point we'll catch up with Hugh, but you can hear it. It's not here. It's been a year, so we just have to get over it and root for Sam in the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome to see him on Sunday, and maybe he'll hoist the Lombardi. But you could hear it from Hugh there, and we'll dig in more to this, more into this with charts around the corner. Is the fact that their perception is that we gave up something great. That is the perception. Now, other things had to happen. Geno Smith had to turn down, I believe, a contract extension. He wanted 35 or 40 a year, and Schneider had to say, well, we're going to move on. So the decision-making was sound, and so some things had to fall into place. But that's their perception, is that you guys really let this guy leave the building? You see what he's done over his last 40-some starts? You heard Hugh rattling off the stats. Unbelievable. How is that possible that we would have an opportunity to bring this guy in? That's the perception of Seahawks fans. And then maybe that stings a little bit, but there's a reason they're there. And it's Sam. It's what Mike McDonald has been doing over his 2 seasons. I mean, the dude just feels like he just never loses on the road. Clint Kubiak and what he's building with that offense. What a freaking freight train that John Schneider and company have put together in Seattle. And there they are, 4.5-ish point favorites Sunday in Santa Clara. When we return, let's just continue the football conversation with Paul Charchian checking in from his nuclear bunker in Utah as the second hour gets kicked off next. It's Nordo in for PA on the Fan.